Hey guys, have you heard the news? Amtrak's starting a brand new route. Do you know where it goes? There's a lot of cool things to see. You're going to want to check this one out. Alright, so this new Amtrak Mardi Gras service, it's a 145-mile route from Mobile to New Orleans with stops in Pascagoula, Biloxi, Gulfport, and Bay St. Louis. We'll go into further detail into each of these stops with all the information you need, including ticket prices and times. Prices are going to be starting as low as $15 each way with discounts for kids aged 2 to 12, students, senior citizens, veterans, active military, and group travel. Make sure you check Amtrak's website or call for tickets because the first few trains have been sold out. Tickets sold out within 24 hours of the announcements. There's going to be 2 daily trips in each direction, one in the early AM and one in the late afternoon. Alright, so let's take a closer look at all the details. Alright, so we're here on Amtrak.com. We're going to show you how to book your ticket. You're going to want to choose MOE, which is the Mobile, Alabama station. Your destination, we're putting to New Orleans, the full route here. So we're going to choose New Orleans station, which is NOL. We're going to choose a date. I'm going to show you that first date, which was August 18th, 2025. As you see here, the train tickets are sold out in coach for the 6:30 a.m. train. The 4:30 p.m. train is completely sold out, business class and coach. So right now, if you want to travel that day, the only thing available is business class for $114. That's a little steep, in my opinion, to go the distance that you're going there, but it's also the first day. So let's go ahead and switch here to we're going to keep the route exactly the same. We're just going to go ahead and switch to that second day that the train was open on the 19th of August. So when we go ahead and switch this, you're going to see here's our prices. Prices on that day are $24 in coach. For the morning train, $66 in business class, $24 as well for coach at the 4:30 train, and the $86 for business class. Clicking here on, they're showing you what we have available. You can take a pet with you, but you got to get it approved beforehand. And there is free Wi-Fi and a cafe car as well. Here's the times that the train stops. You'll see each of the other 4 stops in between Mobile and New Orleans and what time the train's expected to arrive and depart. Same thing with this late train, the later in the evening train. It's going to be similar. It's going to be the same thing with the pets and the Wi-Fi. And then when we're looking at the route, you see the times there for the evening train. Okay, so going along here with business class, when we click on that, it shows you the $86 price. And it mentions a few things about business class here, talking about how you can get a 25% bonus on your Amtrak guest rewards points. Then see, when you look at coach, you see a $24 price point and a $27. That's the difference between value and flex. It has to do with the cancellation fees if you have to cancel your tickets. So you have to always make the choice what's best for you. Sometimes cheapest isn't always the best if your dates are not 100% locked in stone, and you may have to make a change and be flexible. Hence, that's why the one thing is called flex. So now we're going to revise our trip here, and we're going to switch it going from New Orleans back to Mobile for that same day on August the 19th. You see $37 for coach. You see that price has increased. That's a 7:35 train in the morning, $75 for business class. If you're able to hold off and take that evening train coming back, it drops to $24 in coach, and $59 is all for the business class. However, the train does get in at 9:14 p.m. to Mobile. But if that's not a big deal to you, I would definitely stick with the cheaper ticket. I know that's what we're going to do. Alright, so now let's take a deeper dive into each of these stations. We're going to start off on the eastern end of the route down in Mobile, Alabama. Passenger rail actually began back in Mobile back in 1881 when the Louisville and Nashville Railroad opened up service there on a original station that was at Government Street in Mobile. Okay, so Amtrak actually began service in Mobile with the Gulf Coast Limited in 1984 and 1985. Then they were the southern terminus of the Gulf Breeze route, which a lot of people have never even heard of that one. That was in 1989 up until 1995. And then the Sunset Limited, which still exists today, actually used to pass through Mobile on its way to Florida. Unfortunately, when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005, the station was flooded. The tracks all east of New Orleans were destroyed. They were in a complete state of disrepair. So the route was discontinued until now, finally, where they're getting some of the service back up and running. Unfortunately, in 2006, CSX sold the property to a developer who tore down the Amtrak station in 2007, which is why today we have a temporary platform there. The platform, when they say temporary, it makes me think eventually they're going to build something better. Maybe not. Maybe it'll just stay a platform. Depends on how many people, I guess, are continuing to ride on it. The parking lot on opening day is supposed to have, I think, about 30 to 40 parking spots, but eventually it's supposed to have over 100 when all the construction is complete. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when we get to that point. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these station details. It's an unstaffed station, no ATM, no elevator, no payphones. It does say restrooms. It says no Wi-Fi. Let's check the hours. There are no hours since it is a platform station. That does make sense. Parking, we just kind of addressed parking. Let's see what it says for parking. Station parking is not available because, see, it's currently under construction, so that's why it says that. Accessibility, back to that. A wheelchair lift is available. Yay. For those of you who follow my channel, you know what that means. No payphones. There is no checked baggage here at this station. There's no high platform, so you do have to climb up onto the train, which they use the step stool to do that. There's no vending machines, no Wi-Fi, no Amtrak ticket person there. You have to buy your tickets through the app, online, or through 1-800 USA Rail. All right, so when we go ahead and look at this through the Street View option here on Amtrak.com, you see there's a tunnel there at 16th Street. It looks like it goes underneath the water there. When you do come out, there is an intersection that's right there, and then there's parking garages. It's a bunch of big buildings. There's stuff there, so parking is going to be a little tricky to figure out until the rest of the station and all the construction is complete. So just keep that in mind the first couple of months that you're riding the train, that you're going to want to have to set aside a little extra time to figure out the parking situation. All right, so you may be wondering what there is to do in Mobile, Alabama when you get off the train. You may have to rent a car to do a couple of things we're going to mention. One of the things here is you can take a tour of the USS Alabama. That battleship looks really cool. If you've ever driven on Interstate 10 through southern Alabama, you've definitely seen it. Looks like it's cool. Looks like it's worthy of a tour for sure. All right, you may also want to go check out the Cathedral Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. This church actually has roots that date all the way back to the year 1703. So that's definitely worth checking out. The church looks beautiful on the outside. Check out the inside as well. Wow, just amazing. You're definitely going to want to go check that out. Another thing you want to may check out, this is actually walking distance from the train station. This is the Hall of Fame Walk. It features 6 Hall of Fame athletes who were all born and raised in the city of Mobile. This is definitely worth a check. I mean, you've got from Hank Aaron to former Houston Oiler Robert Brazil Jr. You're going to want to come and check this out. It's definitely some good photographic moments in here. You're going to want to come and check it out. All right, so now we're moving a little further west to Pascagoula, Mississippi. The station building was built here in 1904, and it was actually placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1974. The station's currently closed, so it's going to be platform-only loading as far as Amtrak goes. But I'm hoping that maybe some money will get put into this, and they can renovate it and maybe get it opened back up as a regular train station again. That would just be amazing to see. All right, so you see here on the Amtrak site, it does say Pascagoula. It's a platform only, no shelter. It's on Railroad Avenue, the station. So this is an unstaffed station, no ATMs, no elevators, no payphones. It does say restrooms, which I find interesting. I got to see what the state is of those when we get out there. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no vending machines. It says please arrive 30 minutes prior to your departure. I'm guessing that's in case of the trains maybe running a little bit earlier. I don't know, because if there's nothing to do and see, I don't see the purpose in getting there early. So it says station parking is not available here at the station in Pascagoula. I don't know if that's going to get updated once the train line is up and running. It says Amtrak Express shipping not available, no checked baggage because it is a platform only. No shipping boxes available, no bag storage. Ski bags not available. I don't know why you'd be skiing in southern Mississippi. That's another question for another day, I suppose. Bike boxes not available as well. So those of you who travel by bike, if you want your bike in a box, you're not able to do that. If you just have the bike sitting on the train, you can potentially do that, I suppose. All right, so there is an accessible platform. There is a wheelchair lift available. No accessible water fountains, waiting rooms, ticket offices, no accessible restrooms. But on the other page, on the other click there, it did say there were restrooms available, so maybe there's restrooms that are just not accessible. What does that mean? Does that mean a porta potty? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on there with that. And then hours, it should have no hours because it's no station building. It's just a platform only, which obviously would be open all day long. So looking at the street view here on Amtrak.com, you can see that the old building is there. Still looks halfway decent, to be fair. And you see that you can see there's a truck parked there on the right, so I don't know why it says there's no parking. I'm guessing that's because the station, when we're looking at it right now, technically this route is not available, so I'm guessing that's why there's no parking. But the building itself, you can see why I hope that it gets restored one day. Definitely would be great to have. I heard there's some things in the works. We'll see. All right, so a couple of things you're going to want to check out when you're in Pascagoula if you want to hop off the train while you're there and go explore, which that's kind of the whole point of taking these train lines. The first thing you're going to see is the Round Island Lighthouse. The Round Island Lighthouse actually dates all the way back to the year 1859. It originally was rescued during a hurricane. Some of it got damaged. It was rescued and brought to the mainland Pascagoula in the year 2010. Also, you're going to want to check out the LaPointe Krebs house. This house actually dates back to the year 1757. It's technically the longest scientifically confirmed structure in the country between the Rocky Mountains and the Appalachians. That's actually, when you think about that, that's crazy. Crazy facts. Definitely a lot of history here. Definitely worth a look. And then also here, you're going to want to go and check out Main Street. It's always nice to take a stroll when you're in a smaller town like this, a smaller city, to go and check out the Main Street. Usually there's some place to eat, a couple little maybe antique shops, that kind of thing. Definitely looks like a cute Main Street, so we're going to have to go and check that out as well. Okay, so moving a little further west again, the Biloxi station here is located directly across the street from the Biloxi Transit Center, which actually serves as a bus terminal for Greyhound and the Coast Transit Authority. All right, so looking here on Amtrak's site, we do see this one has no ATM. It's unstaffed, no elevator, no payphones, no restrooms at all here at this one, no Wi-Fi. Obviously, if there's unstaffed, that means there's no baggage service whatsoever. Parking, it says same-day parking is available and overnight parking is available. No payphones, no accessible water fountains, weight rooms, all that, but they do have a wheelchair lift to get up on the train. And then hours, since it is a platform, it is completely open 24 hours a day. All right, so taking a look here on Amtrak's website of the street view, you see there is some parking. It looks like it's a covered platform. Doesn't look like it's much to look at, if I'm being fairly honest here. But the good thing is it's walking distance to the casino, guys. You can definitely take a walk. So that's where we're going to start off. Things you don't want to miss when you're in Biloxi. The Beau Rivage. I can tell you just from experience, I've stayed at this hotel a couple of different times. I've stayed here with my family, with my wife. It's been a great time. It's been a great casino inside. There's so much to do there. There's the MGM Golf. They have a nice swimming pool in the back. They have plenty of dining options. And the buffet inside, it is a little pricey, but the buffet inside, worth every stinking penny. That thing is delicious. They have crab legs and prime rib, everything you could possibly go for on a buffet. Next up here, you're going to want to check out Boulevard, which was actually built in 1852. It's the last home of the Confederate President Jefferson Davis. We've actually been there as well. There's a lot of nice animals on the property. You're able to tour the home. They have a beautiful museum inside as well. If you're a history person, you're definitely going to want to go and check that out. It's a one-of-a-kind attraction. And then last but not least here, we have the Lighthouse in Biloxi. It was built in the year 1848, first cast iron lighthouse in the South. It's a city signature landmark when you're driving down US 98. It's also been strongly realized as a symbol of Katrina, of survival, because that lighthouse survived that entire hurricane. It was able to stand with very minimal damage. So it stands for the city's resolve and their resiliency. Very cool. Definitely worth a stop to take a picture of as well. All right, so next up on our list here is Gulfport, Mississippi. The Gulfport former Union Station did open way back in 1904. In 2023, with anticipating of the Mardi Gras line opening in the near future, they did put up some new signage for that, so that'll be cool to check out. As far as what's here on the Amtrak website, there's no checked baggage, unstaffed platform. Same thing we've seen with these previous stations. Let's take a look at parking. They also list parking as not being available at all at the moment. This one does have payphones and accessible restrooms and a wheelchair lift and an accessible water fountain. So this one's got a few more options. And then obviously it's open 24 hours because it's a platform-only station, so there's no actual station hours. The station building itself may be open or closed depending on what time of the day you are there to check that out. All right, so looking at the street view here, you kind of see what the building looks like here. I do see some of that new signage off to the right there. That looks pretty sharp. It's located on 27th Avenue. All right, as far as things to do here in Gulfport, one of the things you're going to want to check out is Traintastic. Traintastic looks like an amazing museum. It has one of the world's largest Lego trains in there. It's a really cool looking museum. Looks like there's a lot of neat stuff to do, not just for kids, but for the entire family. And then next up on our list here is the Island View Casino. We have been to this casino as well in the past. It's definitely a nice casino worth checking out. There is dining options there, as well as the hotel rooms themselves are pretty decent as well. And they're actually they're not priced too bad. A lot of times they tend to be a little cheaper than the hotels in Biloxi. And then last but not least, the thing you're going to want to check out is when you're in Gulfport, you're going to want to go and check out beaches. The beach in Gulfport, Mississippi is beautiful. The white sandy beaches, the nice warm waters of the Gulf. Definitely, if you've got the time, it's definitely worth going and checking that out. So there's a couple of things you're going to want to do. All right, so moving on to our last stop before we get to New Orleans. This is Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Bay St. Louis is going to be just something really special to look at. That building that's there was built in 1929, and it's been recently repainted and kind of restored. It just looks amazing. So now looking at the features that we have on the website, it is an unstaffed station. Platform is what they're going to be using for now. No ATM, no elevator, no Wi-Fi. Obviously no baggage because it's unstaffed, so they don't have the Red Hat service. Let's go ahead and check the parking situation here. It says same day and overnight parking are available, so that's good to know as well. Always with overnight parking, make sure you get approval from Amtrak. It says there's no payphones, no accessible restrooms, no platform wheelchair lift available, and obviously it's open 24 hours once again because we are talking about a platform. So we're going to go ahead and take a look now at the street view here on Amtrak's website, see what the street view brings up. You are going to see this beautiful building. Oh, I like the colors of it. I like the way it looks. That's definitely going to be a get off the train at some point, hopefully, and take some pictures of it. I guess best you can from on board the train if you're not actually passing through Bay St. Louis. But we're going to want you to pass through because there are a few things to see. Starting off first here, we do have the beautiful beaches of Bay St. Louis. Definitely worth a stop. It's always nice to put your feet into the Gulf. The water's usually warm and the sand is always soft. And then here we go looking at the station. Also inside here we have the L&N Historic Train Depot built in 1928. It's a two-story building that houses the visitor center and also currently houses a Mardi Gras museum. Check this out. I can't wait to go and see this. Well, we're going to do that soon. Check out our video for that as well. And then last but not least here we have the 100-Man Hall. It was built in 1922. It was a famous blues hall. It's one of the few remaining sites that are still standing along the Mississippi Blues Trail. It featured such artists back in the days. Listen to this lineup, guys. Ray Charles, James Brown, Etta James, B.B. King, Sam Cooke, Chuck Berry, Fats Domino. Sign me up, get me a front row seat. Sounds amazing. All right, so our final station that we're going to take a look at here is the western terminus of the Mardi Gras line that brings us to the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana. The station here in New Orleans opened in 1954. It is like a Union station. It houses Greyhound. It houses the Megabus. You can also catch the New Orleans Regional Transit Authority, which takes you to the city buses as well as the city streetcars. I'm really hoping on a future trip to New Orleans that we can ride the streetcars and do some filming of those for you guys as well. Alright, so now we're going to take a look here at the station's info on Amtrak's website. We do see under features it is a staff station with an ATM. There's no elevator. There is a Magnolia room. There also is a room here where you can get, if you're a overnight passenger or if you have a pass, you can get into the lounge there as well. There's not too much there as far as I know. They do have the red cap service. They do have baggage available here. They also have bag storage, so if you want to leave your bags and go explore the city. They do have plenty of parking, so they have a lot of parking for same day and overnight parking. That's not an issue. They do have payphones, accessible platforms, restrooms, water fountains, and then the hours of the station are from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days of the week. So you can definitely come and check out this station. You have plenty of time to do it before or after your train ride, so that's pretty cool because there is a lot to see there. Alright, so now we're going to take a look down here at the street view on Amtrak's website and see what it looks like here. Try and give you guys a little picture of the station. There it is, Union Passenger Terminal. Looks like a pretty modern looking building. At least the entranceway does. And the signage looks kind of neat. So a few things you're going to want to do here while you're in New Orleans. You're going to want to go and check out the Superdome. You can take tours of it. You can also go and see a New Orleans Saints football game. It opened in 1975, and the Hurricane Katrina, it sheltered thousands of survivors of the hurricane in there, if you guys remember that from the news back in 2005. And then Café du Monde is a must-stop. The original location opened in 1862. You can get fresh beignets with the powdered sugar, fresh squeezed orange juice, and their world-famous coffee. I can't wait to get back there on another trip and have all that again. I mean, just look at those beignets and that coffee. Just delicious. Wow. Mouth-watering just looking at them, guys. Speaking of mouth-watering things, the next thing you're going to want to do when you're in New Orleans is definitely check out some of their cuisine. They're famous for their Creole-style cuisine, their Cajun-style and soul foods. I mean, you can get things like po' boy sandwiches, jambalaya, fresh gumbo. Doesn't get much better than that. Another thing you're going to want to come and check out is the National World War II Museum. It tells the story of the American experience in the war that helped change the entire world. Definitely, it's one of those places where you can spend darn near a whole day there looking at everything. I mean, the exhibits they have from the planes, the helicopters, the bombers, just the history, the signage. You could be, if you read every piece of literature in this museum, you would definitely spend a whole day there. And then next up, you're going to want to go and check out Jackson Square with its famous church and the statue of Andrew Jackson. It was a National Historic Landmark in 1960. It was named for Andrew Jackson, who led to a win in the 1815 Battle of New Orleans. Then he later became president. And it's surrounded by artists, musicians, and street performers. It's all around a very good experience. All right, so the cool part about this is when you take the train to New Orleans is the hub of the South for Amtrak. So you're able to catch a couple of the other lines. You can take the city of New Orleans, which takes you all the way up to Chicago with plenty of stops along the way, but the one main big stop is in Memphis, Tennessee, so you can stop up for some of that Memphis barbecue on your way to Chicago. All right, the next line you can catch out of New Orleans is the Crescent Line, which takes you through stops in Atlanta and Charlotte and Washington, D.C. on your way to New York City. Very cool route. There's plenty of stops you can see along the way here. It goes through Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. All the way up there, you'll see Washington, D.C., and then it continues on up through Baltimore, Philadelphia, before arriving in New York City. And then last but not least, here is the Sunset Limited, which has stops in San Antonio, Texas, Tucson, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and then it ends in Los Angeles. So this is a very cool route through the southwestern United States, through Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Very cool. All right, so looking at the United States Amtrak system map here, it's so cool that they added this new route. There's also talks of plenty other new routes to come. We're looking forward to each and every one of them. We plan on riding all of the ones that we can. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because we post a new Amtrak station tour video every Saturday night on our channel. So you're going to want to check those out. Leave me a comment down below. Are you going to ride the Mardi Gras? When are you planning on riding it? Let us know your thoughts of what you thought of it. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe on the rails. We'll see you soon.